Boys watch footy. It's another week, another great time to be a footy fan. Hope everybody's doing well. It's your boy E. We got our boy PJ back. How's it going today, PJ?
I think that happy birthday, first of all. E's birthday was last week, and
Appreciate it.
The whole Dem Boys watch footy crew was together yesterday, and I think it took a toll on them. So it's just me who's standing because I'm the biggest party animal.
Exactly. This man has been through it. He as well. We're just listening to his song "Shamgaka" by DJ PJ. That is
Shamgaka, I think.
Shamgaka.
I should know how to pronounce my own song.
Yeah, you should really know that one. But yeah, we are back. We are killing it again. We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. I want to thank everybody again for giving us a listen. Thanks again for the support. We've gone up in viewership every week for the last few weeks. So
let's go.
Hopefully some of the marketing has been going well, but as well the message of trying to expand footy to a lot of different folks who really don't care about football. I really hope that you're enjoying the listen. Well, yeah, how we want to start off this week. Premier League football has started back up. Last week we gave our predictions for how the season was going to start, and some things stayed the same. Other things have changed a little bit. Just want to run through the scores. We had Manchester United versus Fulham. That was the first match of the season. Manchester United won that 1-0. Liverpool defeated Ipswich 2-0. Arsenal defeated Wolves 2-0. Brighton surprisingly defeated Everton 3-0. Newcastle went down a man early and still scored a goal. Won against Southampton 1-0. Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth went 1-1 draw. Aston Villa versus West Ham was a 2-1 win for Aston Villa. We had Brentford defeated Crystal Palace 2-1. We had Man City. That was the big matchup of the weekend. Man City defeated them handily 2-0. And Tottenham and Leicester this past Monday came out to be a 1-1 draw. So, PJ, anything that you saw out the norm, anything that you have really strong critique for, what'd you see?
Well, I have one quick question for you before we start. Who was your pick? I already know the answer. Did you pick Arsenal to win the league?
Of course.
Okay.
It's our year.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can start with that because they had a good start to the season. They got that new goalie from Spain, Raya.
Full time
game, right?
Yeah, we have him full time. We had him last year on loan from Brentford, but solidified that deal at the beginning of the summer. We all knew that was coming. I mean, right now what I'm seeing is Aaron Ramsdale. He has 10 days to find a new club to play for, and they have to meet the valuation to sell him, which is really tough. He was a really strong steward of the club. I loved him, but he did make some mess ups. But Raya, with this defense in front of him, we have Ben White, we have Saliba, we have Gabriel, and on the left, it either goes Zinchenko, Kiwior, or Calafiore, who might be coming up. And our squad right now, defense is deep. Like, we did not play great, but Wolves couldn't threaten us, which is amazing to see. There's some things that we still need to shore up, but Kai Havertz has been scoring again. He scored in the 25th minute.
He had a nice header.
Oh, yeah. And it was assisted by Saka. Saka then scored a goal in the 74th minute. He was my pick for Premier League Player of the Season, and he's already starting off strong. So really happy to see that one.
You think so? They kind of have Havertz as like a false nine almost because he's not a true center forward, but he looked like one on that header.
Yeah.
It's not like a typical Holland back to the goal type player. Do you think he had a pretty good season last year after he was like up and down with Chelsea before? Do you think he can really light it up as kind of the main attacking threat with Saka?
I see the way that we're spending. We are very heavily linked with another center mid who's going to play the 8 role. So he's going to be the pivot on the left side of the midfield. And the way that I'm seeing it, Mikel Arteta, our manager, I feel as though he's just going to go into the season with Havertz as a center forward playing that false 9 role, as you said, and Gabriel Jesus coming off the bench for the foreseeable future.
Wow.
It's working. I mean, we have another year of continuity. I'm liking how we're really moving. I personally would love to see a center forward come, just because that's what wins championships. Holland came with Manchester City, even though they didn't need him. They had Sergio Aguero before. They had Mario Balotelli before. They've had Carlos Tevez before. All like top strikers, and they've won the league.
Balotelli.
Yeah, those are the times, and that's what I wish that we. But if we can do it, we can do it. And I'm just going to put my faith. I've trusted the process, and just going to continue to push forward from there. Yeah. I mean, I like the match. Like I said, we got some holes that we need to shore up, but we'll see what happens in the future. The other game that I wanted to talk about was Chelsea Man City. Chelsea has bought 46 new first team players within the last 2.5 years.
Of course they did.
And they just bought another one. João Felix is coming over from Barcelona for 55 million pounds. I just don't understand the process over there with the American owners and Silver Lake, the consortium that owns them, Todd Bowley, who's the face for it. But they've bought so many players. I understand the style that they were trying to start with. They had 3 defensive midfielders on the field at one time, and you could tell there was no real creative.
At least 1 or 2 too many.
Yeah, 1 or 2 too many. Two I understand. We were playing against Man City. You gotta have some defensive depth, but it'll probably come to fruition more in the season. But my big prediction over the year was, I think Chelsea is going to get fed up and not really trust the process, and they're going to sack their manager. And if you have results like this, 2-0, you buy all of these expensive players, you buy all of these young players. Man City, they weren't even playing with Rodri, and they were just cruising. So I don't know. What about you?
That was, we'll get into the U.S. coach later, but that was Pochettino's big thing with the team, is that they were just spending all this money, but they weren't really building a team. They were getting all these talented young players, but he wanted some veterans, some leadership to balance that out. And they said, no, we just want to go ham and get all these young stars. And, they did okay a couple of years ago when they won the COVID, in the Champions League during that period, but it just seems that all that money is just going to waste. They're like Antoine Walker. They're just spending money, and it's not going, and it's not doing anything productive.
Yeah. I mean, we can only hope. I mean, people keep signing for them, and their wage bill just has to be crazy. But as well, they're also signing people for 8 years at a time, 7 to 8 years at a time. And I'm like, do they know that they're not going to be able to play? You're in the best shape of your life. You have the opportunity to kind of just make it, and you're taking the paycheck. I get it. But at the same time, you're going to want to play, and you have 20 other people that are trying to play in front of you. So we'll see what happens with that story. It's ever developing. I can't wait to kind of see it. I have a bunch of Chelsea friends that I've just been giving a lot of stick to, and they're just telling me trust the process, like I was telling them a few years back with Arsenal and Arteta. So I can give them that much leeway, but it's starting to get really frantic right now, even though it's the first week of the season.
Yeah, Champions League. Europa League, I think, would be like a decent. Champions League is going to be tough just with the lack of cohesion that they have.
Yeah. I am very excited to see how they move forward right now. And then
where'd you have them for your prediction?
I had them winning the Conference League, and I had them winning the FA Cup. But I had them finishing 9th in the Premier League team.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were 6th last year, right?
Yeah. No, they were Chelsea last year were Chelsea last year ended up. Yeah, they were 6th. Yep. Yeah. So we'll see
their level.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I was thinking more of the 7th, 8th because it was the conference championship, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it takes them. I think the final match I want to bring up is the one that happened earlier today. It was Tottenham versus Leicester City.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah, it was amazing to see Leicester City back in the Premier League, even though they they have a few things going on with them right now where they might get some Premier League point deductions going on because of dealings that they had back in 2021 and 22 when they were still up. Same thing that happened with Everton, same thing that happened with Nottingham Forest. But they fought till 1-1 draw, and Jamie Vardy, the old effervescent stalwart captain that he is, has some choice words for Romero earlier today. He drank a Red Bull at halftime, came out and scored a goal 10 minutes later.
There we go.
That's just how the game is,
Yep. Yeah. We'll see how they do. I mean, everyone kind of likes an underdog, at least in terms of salaries. So, do you have any good picks for teams that might overachieve this year in the EPL?
I did not. I had pretty much status quo. I was really looking forward to what West Ham was going to do, but after watching that first match against Aston Villa, so it can only go up, So our next topic that we want to jump into, and I'm glad PJ is here to talk with me about this, something that we both hold near and dear to our hearts, is the Leagues Cup within Major League Soccer versus LigaMX, so the Mexican League. And it's quite amazing to see. Right now we have the semifinals coming up this week, but I wanted to get our thoughts on how we think this tournament is really playing out with the fans, how we feel it's going between interleagues, because there's also a CONCACAF Champions League that happens around this time as well. So wanted to get your thoughts, seeing as though we now have 4 MLS teams within the semifinals. How do you think the League Cup is doing in your thoughts?
I think it's doing great because if you remember a very long time ago, even before me and you worked for the MLS, there was the Superliga, which was kind of the same thing. It was just MLS and Liga MX. And that kind of wasn't, people weren't sending their best players. And what I really like about this tournament, even though we've seen some empty stadiums, is that at least all the MLS teams they're sending their A teams to this. They're taking this tournament very seriously. I don't know what the financial stake is. So that's amazing. And because of that, we're seeing some great results with the MLS teams. There are 4 MLS teams in the semifinals, which is super dope. You know me, I'm a huge MLS fan, so let's go. The obvious caveat is that all the games are played in America, but for me, that sort of is counterbalanced by the MLS being a bigger league, meaning there's more teams. There's 28 or 29 teams in the MLS, and Liga MX has like your standard 20, so the talent pool is a little diluted. So for me, that levels it out. And we have your old squad, the Rapids.
Up the Pids, baby, up the Pids.
They beat America in PKs.
Yep, loving it.
How are you feeling? The biggest team in North America. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I've been really enjoying just the development of Colorado, of the Rapids in general.
100%.
They've had some really dark years since winning the MLS Cup.
Since you left.
Yeah. Since winning that MLS Cup, it's been some dark times, but I think they finally put it back together, what they needed to do. They had really strong development and leadership, but then as well, some of the players that they actually have are actually being sold to different clubs within Europe right now, which is pretty cool to see. So you know that the talent is there and they're doing the correct things on the pitch and off the pitch. So I'm really excited. Colorado versus LAFC, and then the other semifinal is going to be Columbus versus Philadelphia. And I wanted to let that lead into our standing on business bits for the week. That's how we do. We stand on business out here. And so what I want to move with that is I want to say the Columbus Crew, or Columbus as they're now calling it, versus Philadelphia. I think Columbus is going to win that match handily, over 2 goals. And then
Columbus is looking good.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And then as well, I got to up the Pids on this one. We got Colorado taking out LAFC.
Oh, okay.
I'm
curious what you're going to say on this one. You're an emotional gambler.
Oh, yeah. No, not an emotional gambler.
So what do you got? What's your prediction?
I'm thinking it's going to be another shootout, and we're going to win in penalties over that. I think the fact that LAFC has Hugo Lloris and they have Olivier Giroud, plus they have a lot of good American talent on their squad as well. Like,
well-rounded team.
Very well-rounded. Steve Cherundolo's a pretty decent coach right now, so I'll give them the fighter's chance, but I'm really up in the pits for this one. So I'm going to say they win that over in penalties.
Oh, okay. Do you want to make a finals prediction?
No, we'll let it all play out right now. But those are the two. I'm going Columbus and Colorado to make it to the final.
I want to see Giroud get like a last-minute header or something. That would be a nice way to welcome himself to the league. We'll see what happens.
For sure. Well, I want to thank everybody again for giving us a listen to Dem Boys Watch Footy. It's your boy E, it's your boy PJ. We are here speaking about all things footy that happened over the weekend. Again, thank you all for listening on YouTube, seeing us on Instagram, seeing us on all the podcast services, Spotify and Apple Podcasts included. It's really appreciative for your support. Without you, I wouldn't be continuing to do as much as I'm doing right now, and I'm loving the fact that y'all are being receptive to this. So thank you again. Our main topic for the week. Some really big news happened within U.S. men's national team football. The U.S. men's have signed. I'm gonna hand this one over to you, PJ, because he's a former Spur, so that's why I'm just I'm gonna let you take that grand reveal.
Pochettino. I mean, it is confirmed, right? Because there is something about Chelsea owing him wages, but this is 100% confirmed, right?
Yeah, it's a close. Okay, it's about a 95% done deal.
That would be so screwed if, like, I mean, I'm sure it's going to happen. And just, I don't understand how it's 95%, but we'll go with him being our coach, and then I guess we'll take it from there. Because Chelsea is, I mean, they're a mess.
Yeah, it's because of the terms that he signed with the Chelsea, his severance package. So he had a 1 year left on his contract, which was originally stretched to 2 years with an option for a third. And then he's verbally committed to taking the job because he's free and clear to do so. Mm-hmm. Now, there's nothing in the contract preventing that because the club insists that no money is owed if he takes another position. But his contract does prohibit Premier League club top six, and he still wants to keep a relationship. So we need to figure out, why, like, what's the structure? Like, what is U.S. Soccer going to spend for him? And then B, he's also going to have to now deal with American taxes. That's the holdup right now. So it'll be interesting, where he lives in the U.S. He's got to find like a tax-friendly space. So let's see if he moves over to Florida. He might chill out in Georgia.
It's not coming to where we are.
Yeah, definitely not New York. Yeah, especially if he makes anything over $500K, he'll run. Or California, he'll run away. Yeah, he'd run away. So yeah, that's
I'm juiced up.
That's the main issue right now because USSF football right now, they don't know how much they're really going to pay and where they're actually getting the money from. I mean, people can find money from anywhere, so it's notorious to see. So yeah, let me hear your thoughts. Like, what do you think about his football? What his style might reflect? I have my thoughts on him, but I want to hear you first.
Sure. I mean, I'm super excited, especially considering some of the, we started out hearing about Jurgen Klopp and then down to MLS names. So I really wasn't too optimistic. And then us getting us a top tier coach, I'm ecstatic. I was just also tired of hearing about people complain about Berhalter. I was neutral towards him. So, this is great. Yeah, I'm really happy. At first I was a little slightly concerned that he had kind of been with 3 different clubs in the last 5 years, but I saw what he did with Tottenham. He had did very well. I mean, Tottenham is not traditionally a big 4 club. He took them to the Champions League final, took them to second place in the EPL, so he did very well with them. He won the league with PSG, which perhaps is supposed to be expected, and then he finished 6th with Chelsea, which we're like, oh, okay, well, that's maybe not that good, but Chelsea's trash. We know that. They finished 11th the year before. Who knows where they're going to finish now? They weren't building a team. They were just spending money. So overall, his results have been pretty impressive. I think the only knock on his resume is that he didn't have a lot of continuation recently and that he has no international experience as well. But overall, club football is more demanding, even though international is a different game. So you'd think theoretically, if you can handle club football, that he'd be able to handle the national team. He has a nice, aggressive pressing style of play, which I think will be fun. And now there's no excuses. Now we can't be talking about Berhalter or anything, because if people start complaining about the coach again, then it's just like, what's the deal? Because it's two coaches from very different backgrounds. Berhalter, there was a lot of nepotism or whatever. Now we have an outsider, and hopefully the stars will align as these players start to enter their primes. And I'm really, really excited. What are your thoughts?
I'm in agreement with you. It can no longer be about the coach. I was very much saying, like, okay, Berhalter has been a problem, but we need these players to step up. I read the rumblings and the reports about how there's a team contingency of different groups of players, coaches, and members of USF's, the federation's actual group, where they do like a secret society or some sort. So now I'm putting it back on the players. It's Pulisic. What are you going to do to stand up? I mean, I know Pochettino was there when he was at Chelsea, and he didn't play as much under Pochettino, but I mean, you got to stand up. Yeah, you got to stand up. Timothy Weah, he scored a banger of a goal today for Juventus. I got to see him step up under him. Giovanni Reina, you got to step up, man. It's no longer this feud between you and Berhalter, all of the crazy reports that were happening.
Facts with an X.
Yeah, you got to stand up. Where's our... U.S. used to be known for good goalies. Where are all of our goalies right now? I just saw some of the hugest blunders over this past weekend. Still within the contention, Horvath. What was he doing in goal? It was a big blunder. So what are our goalies going to do? Where are they standing?
And that's not really on the coach. I mean, I guess theoretically a coach can make a goalie a little bit better, but if Turner's 29, I don't know what Pochettino's going to tell him. I think that was one of our weaknesses, especially during the Copa America. Matt Turner literally just kicked some balls completely out of bounds and had no pressure on him. But I'm really excited, not only because broadly speaking, it increases our chances. I'm a U.S. men's national team lunatic. I follow over 20 different U.S. men's national team podcasts, and every single one over the last 3 years, the whole conversation was about Berhalter. That was it. It was 90% of the talk. Tactics was very little. The team, it was just all about Berhalter. So I'm finally excited to actually hear about the football, and it's going to be, you nailed it, it's going to be on the players. He has got some time to warm up. There's nothing really important going on for a while, so let's go.
Yeah, he's got time to actually implement a system. He has a very good way of creating actual advantage. One of the great things that I've watched with Tottenham when they were actually doing pretty good under him, he would make sure that the wings would just bombard up the field. He would have a solid center attacking mid. So everything that the U.S. has right now, but one thing that he did always have and he could rely upon was Hugo Lloris in goal with Tottenham. Now,
Prime Lloris.
Yeah, I cannot find a goalie to rely on right now in the U.S. men's national pool.
We don't have.
It's crazy.
It's still Matt Turner, but he's not starting.
Yeah, Matt. And I think when you were talking about him kicking those balls out, that was probably he was losing time at Nottingham Forest.
He wanted to go pro in baseball, bro.
Yeah. But you're here now. You're in the game now.
He's doing it.
You got to produce. So this is the path. You got to figure it out, So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little wary just because he's a former Spur. So, until he got to PSG, he had no managerial trophies. So
true.
So, and it was like you said, you were kind of already thought to be able to win the league, the French league. So let's see what you're actually doing now.
I want to hear your opinion on just him, overall, how highly you rate him as a manager in general. and how you think he fits for the U.S. team.
Well, I mean, club and international, completely different gambits. Another person that you could kind of put him against would be Roberto Martinez. When he first went over to take over Belgium, and then now what he's doing over with Portugal. He was formerly Wigan Athletic, and you're just like, wait, how did this man get to the international? So he's got a strong pedigree. Will it translate? Like you said, he has time to implement a system, get to understand who the players are, who the real shakers are. He's really going to see American politics just like he saw it with Chelsea. So that's going to be a nice little battle that he has to deal with, especially within the federation. I mean, there's so many different things going on in the backgrounds that we know of and things that we have no idea about. So I hope he's up for the challenge. I expect him to be, especially how he was forced out of Chelsea. He's got a chip on his shoulder to really show, like, hey, I'm a top manager, which he is in his own right. He was able to get a squad that some squads that weren't competing up to the level where they needed to be, but as well, he also took a squad that was very star-studded and didn't get them to the promised land. So I'm excited for it.
He's probably the biggest manager we've ever had, right? He's bigger than Klinsmann, no?
Yeah, he's definitely bigger than Klinsmann. But Jurgen did give us the soundbite. Like, if you get these players to play in Europe, you're going to see what we're going to do.
You must move them over from the MLS to they need to play at a higher level.
Exactly.
He wasn't wrong.
He was not wrong. We see that we can actually play attacking football now. Now, does this attacking football actually make us win games and win big matches? I'm not talking the matches against Mexico anymore. I'm glad that we're beating our biggest rival as badly as we are, but losing the matches that we have been, especially over in Copa, we should have been out of that group second. There was no doubt about that. So, yeah.
I think that people are going to be, because of his experience, are going to be questioning his choices a lot less. Whenever an MLS player was called into the pool, all the fans were like freaking out. And, there's potentially an argument that some of these guys were glue guys. I don't know. Like, it's hard. As fans, we want all the most talented players, right? But, if I don't know, but what's a guy in the Lewis from the Rapids gets called up, we're going to trust him, and we're going to say, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. Because whenever Berhalter had like a questionable pick, that was the whole. Even when we were winning, that was like, I can't believe we had Sasha Kleshtin on the bench or whoever. Long retired.
Long retired. He had Graham Zusi on the bench.
Graham Zusi on the bench.
No, I mean, I've always felt like national team, you should pick from everybody. Give everybody a chance. Like, if you rate them, if you see the tape, if you trust your coaches, give those players a chance. I mean, it's worked out very well, especially for Argentinian team. Not everybody plays over in Europe for Argentina. Not everybody plays in Europe for Brazil.
They chose the best team, the best players, and I was reading it in a book that it was talking about NBA teams, and the NBA teams with the most talent aren't always winning because you need to actually build a team. So at the end of the day, what it boils down to is we're not going to question his picks. Like, there might be some important glue guys that he will take, because what this team is lacking is leadership.
Yeah.
And I think part of the problem is none of our big players are leaders on their clubs. Like, when the U.S. did well, they had players that were captains of their MLS clubs. They were leaders. They weren't the best players, but all of our biggest players are not leaders on their teams. Pulisic is not a leader on AC Milan. Well, he could be if things go well. McKinney's definitely not. I mean, a leader at Juventus, because he might not even
McKinney's not I was like, he's not at Juventus right now. He's a free agent.
Yeah, I mean, so proving the point. And none of our key players are really leaders on their team. Maybe Anthony Robinson, that's it. So we do need some leadership, and part of that is on the players to step up and take the next step in their careers, like you were mentioning before.
Yeah. So I want to close out this segment with a question to our viewers.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Please tell us how you feel about Pochettino potentially. He's 98% there. What do you think? How do you think he's going to do? Who do you want to see be called up? What do you think about the solid play that he has? Just let us know. All right. Final segment for the day. I want to give us a nice little uplifting story in the outside, just something a little bit different for people to listen about. I was reading a story on 41 Mag. It's really great newsletter that's specifically about footy and different ways talking about social and club and life, and really read a beautiful story about the development of a futsal league in Mount Salem in Montego Bay, Jamaica. It's a tournament that was pushed through from the Scarce Sports and Valley Foundation to really develop different types of community and bridge building within their community because they're seeing a lot of different crime or people not being able to speak with each other. And we all know that football is a universal language. And so there are 16 teams within this league, and it's a very entertaining hub for the people there. And the story was just really shining a bright light on how their communities are starting to heal and being brought together during these actual tournaments. Some of the names of the teams are Active Strikers and Spirited Underdogs, the Bad Slaves. Yeah, some crazy names for these teams, but it's really cool where you're having games. Some of these people are playing at 2 a.m. You have some of the players actually like 13. Yeah, 13, 14 years old playing futsal outside, and you're having screaming crowds just go on because there's no barrier there. It's just giving people a chance to express themselves within the game and really enjoy just like the community aspect of how this sport still brings everyone together. So
I love that. And that's how I got into the game. Like growing up in the US, I played other sports, and it wasn't until I was able to travel and see how football brought people together in other countries that really got me into it. But I love that. Like I'm actually like a Jamaica fan. Like I root for them because they've got so many talented players. You know, a lot of them are from England, so maybe this will help develop the game a little more there. Obviously, they need to get their federation together, but that's a great story. I mean, that's one of the reasons Brazil's so good because the young kids are playing futsal all the time. Right?
Yeah, futsal is an amazing thing. I mean, the Sambas, the Puma Sambas, are a classic shoe, and the fact that futsal, some of the best commercials that we used to see, Yoga Bonito, like it was amazing to see, and like some of the way that we have techers within football, people that are really known for the technical ability, their dribbling ability around the football pitch. A lot of people got their starts within futsal. Right now, the game is kind of very much the technical aspect, understanding what the manager is trying to do, and essentially just let yourself be played as a chess piece, but also small moments of individuality. But like, I think futsal needs to make a little bit of a comeback, just to give people that extra oomph, because I want to see like really good tricks and flicks. I want to bring that back to the game. The game kind of needs that. So
it'd be cool to see more of that in the US too.
Yeah, for sure.
There's not a lot of while soccer is growing, I don't see a lot of futsal promo or even areas to play. So
agreed.
That'd be dope if it grew in the US and in cities.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, want to thank everybody again for giving us a listen to Dem Boys Watch Footy. It's your boy
Dem Boys.
It's PJ. I hope y'all have a great one.
Happy birthday.